Hey, what's up, everybody? Ralph here. So today's topic, I want to talk about when applying for a credit card. There's four things you should look for. All right. So obviously, we all know how important credit cards are and how important they are when it comes to our finances. So if you're someone that's trying to build credit or you're trying to maintain good credit, obviously having credit cards are important. But obviously, if you're someone that's not good with money, then you might want to stay clear of credit cards. But if you're someone that's good with money and you're just trying to find a way to improve or build up your credit, then obviously having a credit card is key. So if you're someone that's looking for a credit card, I'm going to bring to you. I'm going to talk to you about four different things that can help what you should look for when applying for a credit card. All right, so number one is APR, which is also known as the interest rate. All right, so this is the interest that you pay on any balance that you carry on a credit card. So obviously, when you're looking for a credit card, you want to make sure you find the lowest interest rate on the credit card when applying for it. Because obviously, each balance that you carry on to the month, you're going to pay that amount interest on that credit card every month, and those things can add up over time. All right, but here's a little secret, all right, that you probably don't know. You pay 0% interest on every credit card that you don't carry a balance on. So this is what people that are good with money. Anyone that's good with money, they're not going to pay interest on a credit card. Right? That's just a waste of money. So every time, obviously, when you have a credit card, you want to make sure you pay off that balance, so you're not paying any interest on that. So for me, it doesn't matter what the interest rate is. I don't care if it's 20, 50%, 100%. I never carry a balance on my credit card. Therefore, I pay 0% interest on that. All right, and you should do the same too. But if you're someone that's going to carry a balance, then you want to make sure you try to get the lowest interest rate as possible. All right. So number two. You want to make sure you got to worry about fees. Right now, usually fees that you'll see on a credit card is usually annual fee, maintenance fees, and obviously late fees. These are a little bit trickier to figure out because obviously late fees can vary depending on the credit card, and obviously maintenance fees. I'm not really sure what the maintenance fees are. I've never really seen it on credit cards that I use. But the one thing that you need to focus on is the annual fee. That's one that, once you're filling out the contract, when they talk about the details of the terms of the agreement, you'll see an annual fee. Now you want to make sure you stay away from those because, you don't want to stay away from them because it depends on the purpose of your credit card. Like I have a Capital One Venture card, right? And the annual fee on that one is $95 a year. But I use that for everyday purchases like groceries, gas, anything that I charge. I use my credit card, so I use that for daily expenses. And the good thing about that is you also get incentives back on that, which I'll speak on number three. So for me, it makes sense to use that. But if you're someone that's just looking to just get a credit card and you're not looking to get anything with it, you want to make sure that you avoid the ones that have an annual fee on that because those things can add up. Right. So, you want to make sure that if you're going to pick one that has a fee, you want to make sure you're also getting things like incentives back that make sure you're actually making money instead of spending money. So try to avoid the ones that have the annual fees unless you're getting money, you're getting cash back or you're getting some type of reward. All right. And also, you got to make sure you stay clear of, late fees and maintenance fees. You want to stay away from those. All right. You want to make sure you're making payments on that every month. All right. So number three. All right, paybacks. All right, these are the incentives. Like you usually get paybacks in terms of flight miles or cash back. And on my Capital One Venture card, for me, I get flight miles. So every time I use my card, I'm getting like two times my money on my purchases. So I probably right now I got probably at least $600 worth of flight miles that I can use. So for me, it makes sense to have that credit card with the $95 annual fee because I'm making more money every time I use that credit card. So for now, it makes sense to me. If it doesn't, and if it gets to a point where it doesn't make sense to me, then I'll probably downgrade that credit card and just remove that annual fee. But for now, I use that for every transaction when I'm getting gas, groceries, any purchases that I make. So I'm actually making more money than I'm spending on that. So for me, it makes sense. But you want to make sure if you do pick a credit card that you're getting some type of incentive back, whether it be flight miles or cash back. So it makes sense to you in the end. So you want to when you look for a credit card, definitely look for credit cards that are actually going to give you some money back or give you something back in terms of a reward. All right. And number four, the last one is incentives. Now, when I say incentives, it's almost like the paybacks, but usually the incentives you get are probably like bonus flight miles or you get 0% interest rate on a balance transfer fee. All right. So when you're looking for a credit card, you want to make sure it has these either or. But it really depends on your needs, right? Like if you're someone that doesn't really have a balance on your credit card, then that interest, the 0% interest rate on the balance transfer is not going to make sense to you. All right. So if you're someone that doesn't worry about the balance, then you're probably going to be the one that's looking for the bonus flight miles. Like usually when you're signing up to a new credit card, like, you know, the good thing about credit cards is there's so many competitors. So each credit card is competing for your business, right? So they're going to offer you a whole bunch of incentives, right? And one of those incentives tends to be like bonus flight miles. Like if you spend a certain amount, they're going to give you like 60,000 miles of flight miles. So these are like incentives that get you to apply for their credit card. So you want to make sure you look for those, right? And make sure it makes sense financially. I don't want you to get a credit card and then spend a whole bunch of money just to get some bonus flight miles. If you see that you're going to make like large expenses, then it makes sense to get that credit card, spend it up, and then at least get those bonus flight miles, right? But if you're someone that plans on carrying a balance month to month, then you might want to take advantage of that 0% interest rate on that balance transfer. Because that's just, you can take that credit card. I mean, you can take that new card. If you have a balance on another credit card, you can take that old credit card with the balance, and then you can transfer it over to this new credit card with 0% interest. All right, and that help you know if you're caught behind with debt. At least you'll be paying 0% interest on that debt. And you want to, obviously, if you take advantage of that, you want to make sure you're paying that down aggressively. Okay, so yeah, these are the 4 things that when you're looking for a credit card. You want to make sure you look for these things so you get the most bang for your buck, all right? And you're not spending the most amount of money wasting money. So these are the things that you want to look for. If you got any comments or questions, make sure you leave a comment down below. Hit the like button and take care, and have a good one, all right? Later.